Camera C. Alrighty. I think I should be okay. And we'll project the screen. Alright. I think we're all good. I think you guys can hear my voice. Dang, you got in here so fast. I just started. I'm gonna do no music today. It's just gonna be me throwing, and you'll probably hear the wheel kind of loud. Oh, I should just set this stuff over here. I wonder if I have other pots that I can move around. These are coming off. Alright, so this one, we gotta start a new area. We'll have them along here. Okay. How's this one? Nope. 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 No. I think that's all the ones I can take off. Unless this one's done. Okay. Today was so... I feel like today gave me every reason to not, or every excuse to not film today. Like, I felt like life was just trying to test my mentality to see if I would continue to do it today. But here we are, you know. This one fell. I'll get this one over here. Let's see. I get notified. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's so empty. I got rid of it all. Well, it's just all upstairs. It's kind of chaotic. The clay is really soft today, so I didn't take it and leave it out for like, usually I'll leave the clay out for like 8 hours. But today I did not do that. So, that is okay. We'll just throw with soft stuff. We probably will have to sacrifice the height a little bit. So that's not fun, but should be okay. And we're just gonna give a quick wedge on this stuff. Okay. And we're gonna start here in a second, so. Open up the wet box. And my wet box is actually kind of, it's not dry, but it's a little bit drier than normal, so those will probably be good to throw with tomorrow. And I think we're just about ready to start. Thank you guys for being patient. One of these days I'll have to make like a little like a 5-minute prep video, but maybe it's cool that you guys get to see me prep. I feel like sometimes, especially online, you don't get to see the behind the scenes as much. Somebody said, what am I doing? I'm going to be throwing some trees. No music today, so it's going to be a little bit more quiet. You're going to hear all the scratchy noises. You'll probably even get to hear, you know what, I've noticed that in my videos, normally you don't hear the wheel kind of squeaking. My wheel is actually really annoying, so you'll probably hear that now since there's no music. Alright. Camera A. Camera A. Oh. Sorry about that. A jump scare. Oh, so funny. I forget to turn that off at the start of each stream. Okay, we'll spin these. Okay. It'd be kind of spooky to see me like this. Alright, pottery shelf. Pottery shelf. There we go. Look how empty that is. I love that. Okie dokie. We're going to turn this on. We're gonna hop over here. You guys ready? Green on. Good morning, chili dogs. What you focus on grows. Feed them horses. 3 more pots. We're gonna get into this. Today is a wild day. It's a late night, but I'm still here. You know, you always, whenever life throws these things at you, it's trying to take you away from value, where you define value. Don't let your life have the ability to make excuses for the things that you hold valuable in your life, right? But anyway, I'm going to get into it. I'll see you guys over there in a second. We're doing no music today. We'll see how this goes. It'll be kind of nice because this video won't be copyright. All right, green off. Green off. There we go. Camera C. Okie dokie. We'll turn this off. Boop. And we're going to start throwing. I'm going to be kind of quick with these today too, and since there's no music, it's going to be a little bit different. Let me know if you guys like this vibe more than the music, or you like the music better, or Alright. What's up, Demon John? Dang. It's so funny, there's a lot of names I'm starting to recognize now. Alright, but here we go, guys. You ready? Did you get in trouble for the music? No, I don't really get in trouble because I don't monetize my stuff yet. It's just, I don't know, I thought something different, you know? Alright, so here we go. Camera B. Camera B. Alright, guys. Just pushing this down. You can already see how much softer it already is. And watch, just with pushing my hand in, and look what's happening. Right? Just with pushing that hand forward on that left side, you can already get it pretty close to center, right? And so a lot of people will use both their hands and create like an equal, push and pull. But for me, I always think that it's a lot nicer to just use this one hand and kind of just push it into this right hand, which is the wall, right? Again, we're right at the bottom. I'm going to slowly pull this up. Also, you can see how wet my hair is. It was so rainy here. It was, seriously, it was just brutal. All right, again, at the bottom. You can see that when I'm pushing this up, the top's going to get wobbly, but look at how I'm using my thumbs to kind of counteract that wobble, and we'll swap over to camera A. There we go. Tilt this over. Come on. Right up to the top. Somebody said, I like the music, but I get it if it's bad for the VODs. That becomes a problem. You might want to have a split recording. Yeah, I feel like it's not really too big of a problem right now, I don't mind doing the music. Like I said, I don't monetize my stuff, so I'm not making money from it anyway. But one day I'll have to figure out something with that, right? But we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just think I like switching it up every once in a while. Also, I think it's kind of weird that I'm like in this dark abyss right now. I think it's kind of interesting. But we're going to slowly push this down. We'll swap over to camera C. Camera C. So you can see, again, my hand is always on that left side. I'm going to be pushing down just a little bit. Hopefully you guys can kind of hear my wheel. It should be a little bit more whiny. I hope you guys can kind of hear that. I think I prefer the music. You have great playlists. Yeah, no worries. If you're not feeling the vibe today, I won't be upset if you leave, I just like to change things. Sometimes I'll play some like crazy music, sometimes I'll play some quiet music, sometimes I'll play some stuff that I don't even know what it is, right? Today I'll do no background, just darkness, and then no music. Let's just see how it goes, right? Again, I'm opening this up, and I'm kind of using my finger as a cutting tool, right? I'll round this off. Alright. Again, I'm going to grab my llama here. What's up, guys? It's me. Llama, long day, you know, a lot of rain, a lot of stress, but we're going to continue moving on forward. Let's get into the first volcano. See you guys in a second. Camera B. Slowly walking back this left hand. You can see how when you're bringing them across each other, I'll slowly bring in and get that volcano. Thanks for the volcano emojis. Where's my sponge? Yeah, already I'm also feeling that my clay here is pretty thick, so we'll swap over to camera C. Push this down. I do like the music though. I think like I will normally do the music. Again, it's late at night, and I don't really want to piss off my neighbors too. But here we go, right down to the bottom. Get some camera B going on here. Open this up. Again, you know, I was trying to teach some of my students the other day, and I was telling them, and I said, like, when you're at this bottom, don't think of your fingers squeezing at the bottom. Think of you're shifting both of them over, right? You want to push in that base, right? And you want them to both shift inwards, right? And you can see how just by shifting that inwards, how much it changes that volcano into a cylinder here, and we're slowly walking this up. There we go. Okay. We're gonna get some more water on our hands. Oh. I feel like I have hair stuck on my hand here. Color that in. Are you working with both hands or mostly one hand and the other is there to assist? When I'm coning up the clay, like when I'm pushing, it's mostly my left hand. But when I'm pushing, it's kind of both simultaneously, but it's more, I like to think about it as like irrigation for a farm, right? When you want to water your plants, you carve like channels for water to go so that it can water your farms. In that same way, like I'm creating a path, right? You can see my hand here creating this little like bump for that clay to move through that channel, which is the in between my fingers here, which is stretching out that clay, right? And so I don't know if I really think about it, like when I look at people's hands, they're so stiff with their hands. It's like they feel like they're like choking something, right? Or like they're trying to squeeze, right? Where it's really about locking, you know, like when you switch a lock to lock your door, right? That lock isn't like squeezing, right? It's sliding into place, right? In that same way, I like to think about my hands as kind of locking into place, okay? A little bit of water on my elbow here. Again, I'm going to go right down to the bottom. And the clay is soft, so I got to be slow here. Again, I'm going to be slow on this bottom to find this little bump. And then now that my finger's underneath that bump on the exterior, right? Do you see how they're right underneath? And I'm just carrying this little bump up. And I want to dissipate that bump when I get to the top because I'm already thinner on that top. You can see I kind of get rid of that bump. And there we go. Sweet. Alrighty. What happened if you wore something thick but soft on your hands, like little felt gloves? Some people do that with, like, I've had some students who have some like really long nails, and they'll bring in gloves, but I like they'll ask like, what should I do with my if I have long nails? And I'm like, I don't know. I've seen people wear gloves, but I feel like when I have my finger pads touching and scraping against the clay, like that's what I want to feel. I want to feel every moment that the clay is shifting and moving around, right? And so for me, I feel like when you wear stuff over your hands, you're kind of like, it's almost like driving with a blindfold on, right? Maybe it's not that serious, but I hope it kind of makes sense, right? Cut them. It's easy to say, but for some people, like they hold a lot of value in their nails, right? And how they look. So I try my best to help them out, even though that's probably the easiest thing is to cut them, right? How many pounds of clay? This is probably like right around 3 pounds, I would say. Okay, right down to the base. I'm going to slowly take a breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see my hair is stuck in the clay here. And also I'm got a little bit too rambunctious with that one. You can see how it's bumped out a lot more. So that's going to be kind of a problem area. But we'll try to smooth this out a little bit with our thumbs. And then now we're going to start twisting this down. And then pull this out just a little bit. You can see that problem area, but we're not really going to worry about it too much. We just went out too much on that one side. You can kind of get a feel for it. But looks the same as the others, TBH. Well, you know, they're all in the same genre. Sometimes people ask me, do I get bored with it? And I would always say, yes, I do get bored, but I think that's part of it. Especially, I feel like today, whenever you're bored, I mean, you just like whip out your phone, right? And so there's something about being bored where I think it's kind of valuable. And these forms are difficult enough where I still fail every once in a while, and I still feel like I discover new things, right? And there's a lot of baked potential into the objects. And so even though they're boring, you know, if you sit somewhere, like if you flip rocks every single day, you know, every once in a while you might flip the rock and there might be a salamander under it, right? And so that's kind of what I think about when I'm making. Whoop. All right. Question, and adding to that, what's the worst accident that could happen while you're doing what you're doing? Like, to me physically or to the object? To the object, I don't know. I think the worst is when you fail and you try to fix it, right? If it fails, just let it fail and then assess if it was a good failure or a bad failure, right? Sometimes things will fail and they actually look kind of nice, but sometimes they'll fail and they will look bad. You just got to kind of be honest with yourself. And that's hard to do. I think it's difficult. But I think that's also why clay is kind of beautiful, is it forces you to be honest with yourself to some degree, right? Especially on the wheel, because there's some like real constants, right? Like when you're off center, you feel it, right? It's not, you can't like gaslight yourself into thinking you're on center when you're not, right? Because it's like a thing that's in front of you that you see and you feel. And so it's kind of humbling to some degree. But to me, I think the worst thing that's happened to me so far, maybe I hurt my hand really bad not too long ago when I was throwing with a lot of clay. But I was throwing with like 25 pounds of clay and then another 25 pounds over top of it. I was making these huge plates and I really hurt my hand. It got stuck and then the wheel kept pushing and it kind of, I don't know, I still feel it if I spread my hands out really wide. And then something else that happened to me is when my hair gets stuck in the clay. That's kind of a problem. Camera C. So there's number 1. I'm going to kind of speed it up for number 2 a little bit. I think I'm taking a little bit too long. I think not having the music allows me to answer more questions, though. Valid. We need more boredom in our lives? Totally. I think a lot of people are scared of boredom because you have to confront your own mind, which can be very difficult for people, right? No, I don't sell any things. Yeah, but I used to make these giant plates. Here, I'll show you. So I have a couple of these around. Do you see these big... This is a bat, right? And so like this is a plaster bat that I made. I cut it a circle and then I poured plaster and I threw with plaster so I can throw plates upside down. You can see I have a couple more over there. as well. But I did a lot of these large plates for a little bit. But I don't do that. Yeah, the trees, guys, the trees is only this past year. Before that, I wasn't doing anything like what I'm doing now. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna push that forward. All right, a little bit of water. It's a bad analogy, more like skipping rocks. You just get better at it. Okay, skipping rocks. That's a good way to think about it too. Have you had your nails get ripped from throwing clay? No, usually what happens whenever my nails get long, I don't even have to cut my nails anymore because they literally get shaved down by the wheel. Like the wheel head here, like it just kind of shaves down my nails. Camera C? Oh, I'm already at camera C. Camera B? And you see how I'm kind of tilting it over to one side? That's to help it so it doesn't get as wobbly on the top. Camera A? Slowly walk this up. And slowly bring this down. Right, wherever it wobbles, lower that right hand, and then walk that back up to that left hand. I'd love to see you do that. Do you have a video? The thing is if I don't think I do them here because the trees, as much as they're fragile, they're still manageable to transport. Large plates like that, I'd really want to fire them in the same place that I make them. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I throw them upside down and I flip them upside down. I flip that whole chunk upside down. Well, I also throw the foot upside down as well. And then I'll put some foam and they literally just drop into the foam. And then I pick that up and then I center it back on the wheel and I trim the interior. Yeah, but that's not really my technique or anything. An old professor of mine I saw do that, so I was like, well, I'm gonna make them better, right? And the process I think I made better with those big plaster bats that I constructed, and they're pretty nice, but I still have some troubles with them releasing properly, and I don't know if I should throw the plate or if I should slab and then just throw it. It's kind of like weird because when you throw it, you add a lot of water and they want to kind of stick. What happened to all your trees? Why is your room so empty? I moved all the trees upstairs. If you guys could see what it looks like upstairs, I look like I should be on a hoarders episode. It's really bad. I think I have less living space than I do like space for trees. I'll do a video one day. Do 3 trees every day, but I'd love to see you do some other stuff. Well, it's just like, I might stream for about an hour, right? The prep for it takes a little bit. Oh, look at that. I have a lot of this clay kind of just rip off there. So I just squeeze a little bit too hard. We gotta cut off some of this stuff. This is really weird. I don't even know what happened here. I wasn't paying attention. Do you see how off-center that top is? Let's try to fix this. But yeah, I'll do more trees just until the end of the year here because the goal was to do 3 every day for a year. And so the prep and the cleanup afterwards and then to move everything, these stuff all take kind of a lot of time behind the scenes, and then after I finish this video I have to go edit for like 3 hours, you know what I mean, and like post and schedule and make a thumbnail, and sometimes I'll make those funky pottery edits. Like it's a lot of time, and then I have I work at those 4 different art centers too. The summer's not as bad, but I was doing 7 days a week for a little bit, which was like, I literally felt like I was going crazy. But I still get it done, right? But after this year, I'll probably do some stuff. I had some people ask about teapots and things, and yeah, I'll do some more stuff after the year's up. But I still think I want to keep making a lot of trees. But I'll do other stuff. But for now, I just want to make sure. I think a thing that I always struggled with for a long time was like keeping my word to myself. Like when I would say stuff, uh, I'd come up with excuses to not do it. And so I think this is like a good moment for me to continue to do it, right? I don't think I know Young Cage. Oh yeah, we'll go. Camera C. I'm gonna color this in. Camera B. You'll see how much I got that in it. And then after we do one pull there, we're gonna do one more evening pull. And we're not trying to get any more height. It's just usually after you color something, you want to realign those clay particles because sometimes it almost like you're creating stress tension marks on the inside. They almost look like stretch marks, right? And so we just want to make sure we realign some of that clay there. When's the tree anniversary? The 20th, which is going to be crazy because 2 days before that, I have to travel somewhere. So it's going to be, I don't think I'll be able to live stream, but I'll bring my camera and I have another wheel and I'll travel with that. And so you're going to get like a really scuffed video 2 days before the anniversary. It's going to be like me in like a yard next to an outlet throwing the trees on a small wheel. And then I'll come back and then I'll do the last one. So, yeah. Alright, here we are. Take a breath. And a little bit slower. Too slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We did a 5 tangent. Walk this up just a little bit. Be gentle. Get ready. Swap this over. A little bit of water on that interior. Slowly push this out. I went a little bit fast on this rim. I shouldn't have went as fast, but just that. There we go. I'm really thin, so I'm kind of thinking that this one might tear or create a water fissure. On the other one, we did some some tendrils. So right now we're gonna do some what's it called? Some petals probably. It's interesting that you're here, Cheese. Right now, with one of my classes, I'm making chess sets with them, right? And right now, my chess set is going to be rocks with eyeballs and swords versus cheese with toes. And so, interesting about the cheese, right? The POV shot of when you drew the cylinder out. You like that part of it? Like when I bring it, you're talking about when I collar that up and get it a little bit thinner? Yeah. It will probably be awesome. I hope the quality will be good and you get a nice shot. The quality of those videos where I'm like traveling will not be too good. Alright, but here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is unfortunate. And so if we have 9, what should we do with 9? Maybe we just emphasize the 9. So I'll bring these in, 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 bring these in. We'll keep them kind of like this, just because when you have a 9, you can't really make the petals, but you can see if we emphasize it, it's a little bit more jagged on that bottom. So I think that would be kind of a little bit nicer. Are your chess sets slab work? No, I mean, I've thrown some pieces, right? Like, camera C. Like, you'll see, like, here's a thrown horse, right? And so this is, like, the stuff that comes off the bottom that I just kind of kept it and became the main. And then, like, I have, like, a little queen, or maybe this is the king, you know? It's a thrown little piece. I have some rooks over here, and I have, like, a bishop right here. Just all thrown stuff, kind of small. So I throw them, but these ones I'm making are hand-built with a class here. So it's kind of fun. They're doing some cool stuff, you know. Some of them are like into like foxes and stuff. So somebody's doing like foxes versus like mushroom people. And Another one's doing stuff from like Legend of Zelda. Another one's doing like bugs, like centipedes versus like flies or something. 9 is the perfect number in Chinese mythology. How come that is? Is there like a folklore about it or something? Wow, thank you. Incredibly small, thrown off the hump. Yeah, like that's my when I'm making stuff for myself, right? Like personal work, I love making parts. I was actually inspired by a professor who was really obsessed with parts, and so I started doing a lot of um, like part stuff and throwing off the hump because of him. I really liked his theories on parts and how they come together on an object. And so I do a lot of throwing off the hump when you guys don't see me on stream. Are you teaching at a school or something? Yeah, I teach at a couple places. I teach at 3 art centers and 1 art institution, right? But it's still kind of like a art center essentially. But I don't really, as much as teaching's cool, I you'd be surprised, like sometimes I think teaching is like I should be putting in a lot more effort, I think. But I think if I put in too much effort, like I'd be doing a lot of time that I'm not getting paid, you know what I mean? So there's like kind of a balance of it. Must be low pay. Yeah, it's pretty low pay. All right, so here we go. Camera B. Oh, I gotta do camera A. Camera A. There we go. Walk that up. But that's okay. Even though it's low pay, think about it this way, right? Like, I get to teach people about ceramics when I think a lot of people who teach ceramics aren't necessarily the right people to get taught from, right? So I get to like have some opinions on how people should be taught, and I get to touch material, right? Like I go, like this morning, I went to work, I mixed a bunch of glazes for the studio, I got to teach a class, and I did some throwing. I teach people about some different glaze processes, and I got to throw, and then I got home, you know, I had all this other stuff I did during the day, but then I came back tonight, and then I get to throw again, right? So even though I get low pay, I get to always have my hands on clay, you know, multiple times a day. And I get to teach. Like when you teach somebody something, you get a whole entire different viewpoint on how ceramic works, right? Or how the wheel throwing works. Yeah. But I think one day it'd be cool, like if I just did online stuff. I've thought about doing another channel where it's just me teaching. And I think I would kind of do it more like as a, like, like a more kid friendly. I think some of my content here is like I'll cuss sometimes, I think, and like I'll play some like music that might not be appropriate. And so I think if I did another channel, like I'd want it to be accessible to like all ages of people. Um, I always think like back, I wish I would have been able to find ceramics a lot earlier in my life. And so we'll see if I do that. And plus some of my students too, they know about my YouTube channel, and I think they get kind of like excited about it. And so I think if I made a YouTube channel, that'd be like, you know, let's go find clay outside and how do we process it so then we can work with it, right? Just stuff like that I think would be pretty cool. Alright, but here we go. Llama here. He's gonna bite down on this rim. Camera B. Gonna bite down on that rim and slowly walk this back. And I feel like I've been going a little bit too fast with this, and like right here I'm starting to feel it really get some tension on this, right? There we go. I think, you know, deep down though, I don't know if I like. I'm pretty egotistical, like in my own mind, not like externally, but internally. And so like for me, there's nothing more that I want to do than just like become a hermit in the woods somewhere throwing pots, right? But there is something really valuable about when a student comes to you and they're curious about something, like genuinely curious, and you can, you don't get them there, right? But you can help them discover a path to get to where they want to be, right? And when they start seeing results from that, it's a really cool feeling, right? There's something with pottery is like you get the opportunity to give people things like objects, right? But when you can allow people, when you give them the mental tools or like the ideas so they can produce their own objects, there's something really powerful about that as well. All right, so right down at the bottom, I slowly bring this up. You can see I'm just evening out those walls just a tad, nothing too crazy. Somebody said drink and drive pottery, brother. There's, I feel like people have done that before. Like, I remember seeing there's like tipsy pottery online, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like I watched the first like 3 minutes of it. This is no shade towards that person, but I don't think people watch that for like the pottery stuff. Um, how much do you pay for all the materials, and how much days after you buy it does it remain? I'll usually buy anywhere from 500 to 800 pounds of clay at a time. Um, and it usually lasts me maybe 2 months. And when you buy in bulk, you get it cheaper, but maybe it's around like anywhere from $300 to $400 per visit when I get the clay. All right, I'm gonna color this in just a little bit. And you can see when I color, I'm like, I'll stop it for a second. Look how much I'm bringing that in. I'm actually going to get a lot of height when I collar. And so you can see I just kind of create this little bump, and I just take that all the way up, and you can see I get some height there. I like how you think I'm fully there with you. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of fun. What's your masterpiece? I hope I don't make my masterpiece until I'm way older. I think like a lot of people like they'll ask me to like rate my pots on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And I'll usually give them kind of like I'll give them a real number. I won't like gas it up, or I won't be too difficult. And the number seems low to a lot of people. But what I think people don't understand is that I'm like a quarter of my life is over, right? A quarter of my life is over. If I think that within the 4.5 years I've been making, that I've been able to make a masterpiece right now, I think I'm not being truthful with myself. And so I hope I don't make a masterpiece until I'm really old. The dream would be that my final piece is the masterpiece, right? And I can't make any more after that, and then I just pass away. Well, I've never really. The person who was really good at pottery when I was in school, because I didn't go to school for this stuff in my undergraduate, right? I um I knew the guy, but I don't think that's a little bit off. That's okay though. I knew the guy, but I don't think he really knew me. And so I'd never really had somebody who like sat down with me and like taught me this stuff, right? I had people who would tell me if things looked good or bad. I had one kid who was in the ceramics department. He was kind of let's just say he also had a large ego, right? And he would definitely tell me when something was bad. And let's just say there was not really any positive feedback for a while. And so I didn't really get too much help. And then my one professor that I had when I took the class, I was over on the kick wheel, kind of off in the corner, so I don't think I really got much attention there, but I'm really stubborn, and so, I just kept at it until finally it started working out, right? But can I show it? Do I have one down here that I really like? What's my best piece? I think probably one of my better pieces is upstairs. Yeah. I used to make these jars with these flowers falling out of them, and I thought they're really nice. They're like ceramic flowers that tip over in the kiln. But we'll do a double petal here. Right to this edge. Slowly walk this out. There we go. And the key with these tendrils is always, this clay is kind of soft, so I want to make sure I spend some more time twisting these up. This is going to go over the top, and so hopefully it'll almost look kind of interesting. And I think we want these to, we'll have it reach in. I kind of like the idea of it reaching over that rim, kind of disturbing the vessel a little bit. And this one will do that same thing. This one won't even go all the way up though, so maybe we won't do the same thing. And then we'll kind of make it look like it's holding its head up here. A little twist. There we go. Okay, so we got a double thing here. I'm going to just thin out these a little bit. I have these moments on the side here, right? They're still kind of ununiform, and I'll probably make some waves here, but I just want to taper that edge. So I let go and then I squeeze, and I let go and then I squeeze, right? So it's kind of catching that. And then I'm going to snake that in a little bit, and then I do a little wave, and then snake that in a little bit, and a little wave, right? And so kind of trying to mimic some of the looseness of the form that you see like in the object itself, but have that kind of exaggerated throughout different elements of the object here, right? I want my final piece to be my masterpiece. Always. It's really cool. Yeah, right? I think it'd be kind of a cool thing if that's the case. Alright. Camera A. And so we're going to get ready here. I would normally cut to a pottery edit, but I feel like there's been kind of chill vibes today, so I won't do a pottery edit today. So, I think I want to talk about the two tendrils. When I look at these, I want to talk about tendrils. So I'll have them next to each other. And whenever I say tendrils, what I mean is these little, like these moments, like this. Okay, hold on. This is tendrils, and this is tendrils here, right? Then these are like the veins of the tree trunk, right? The twists. And then this is the tree top, right? That's kind of the vernacular that I've developed about these forms. Yeah, right on. Edit would feel out of place. Right? I feel like it would be too jarring. It would ruin the energy of today. Yeah. I always think too, like, I'll never get angry at anybody if they're just not feeling the vibe of the stream. Like, I'm sure some people didn't like that there was no music, and that's totally okay if it's not your thing. I kind of change it up every once in a while. The forms are kind of always going to be the trees for now, but alright. So I'm going to hop over there in a second, so you guys are going to have to send me some energy, okay? Also, I want to make sure I get this in focus here, so hold on. Let me bring this down a little bit. I think that should be more in focus. Yeah. Send me the energy, guys. Green on. Hello, guys. We're going to do a little pottery review here. I'm going to start off with this one. I think what I want to talk about with these two actually is the tendrils, right? And how they act differently on the vessel, right? Well, first, I think today this one's probably my favorite. I think when I look at the actual veins of the tree here, I think the twist is a little bit higher up. This one, I would say the twist is a little bit ununiform and a little bit lower, and I think it's just too busy towards the bottom. This one on the top is also a high twist, but I don't think I did petals instead of tendrils. Like these two are tendrils, this is petals. Well, these are actually almost like they're like wannabe petals. I don't know if I'd call them petals yet. Maybe closer to the tabs, but besides the point. When I do these tendrils, I think they speak very interesting to this idea of the tree and there being kind of like grass or busyness towards the bottom, right? When it's like a pattern, when I do it all the way around, it feels more like a tree. And when it gets busier there, it feels like the little foliage that are right at the base of the tree. At least when I look at that's what I see here, right? But then when I kind of break away from the pattern of it, right? And I take it away from pottery a little bit, and I think it gets more into the realm of sculpture when I see ones like this, right? When I have the two tendrils really kind of wandering about onto the object. And I think it's this idea of wandering, right? When these tendrils look like they're doing something that a human would do or something alive would do, like wander, grab, or hold up, right? I think they distance themselves away from this idea of pottery over here, like what we're seeing with pattern, right? And so even though there's pattern and looseness and all sorts of stuff going on, I always thought these ones really tell more of this sculptural story, or there's almost like a lore behind them, right? But anyway, I do think this one's the best one of the day. You know, I give this one kind of, this is not too great, I would say. It's more mundane. I just am not liking that there's this one twist here that's a little bit too ununiform, and I think it makes it look like the top is just losing, right? Instead of like over here on the top one, the top looks contained and it looks a little bit more purposeful. I think when it doesn't look purposeful, it needs to be like the focus of the object, where I don't think the focus is that top. I think it's more towards that bottom there. And then one on the top, I think, you know, it's just unfortunate whenever I'm doing the tabs and I get an uneven number. I think I got to start thinking about things that I can do when I get an uneven number. Maybe I go back into it and cut again, or maybe I just turn it into tabs right away. But I still think that's something I got to figure out, something to do. But you can't force those. You got to kind of make them manifest themselves by just doing it, right? I always think multiples is the best way to develop ideas. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. All the best, strong mentality, and that's it. I'm not going to do the pottery edit here, so camera C. Oh, camera C's dead. Camera A. Camera A. Green off. Camera C's dead. All right, computer. Computer. You'll see me wander over here, meandering around. I'll look at some of your guys' questions. Love the way the top changes, the movement, and this is fascinating. Yeah, right on it. Oh, we already did those ones. You're the closest thing we have to Bob Ross. You know, that's so funny. That's probably today more true because there's no music. But I think I'm a little bit like sometimes I stutter. I say right at the end of my sentence. Like I'll be like, this looks, I think I like this, right? Or I'm going to be doing this right now, right? Like I use a lot of those sort of filler words. Where when I listen to Bob Ross, I don't think he has a lot of those fillers. Um, but yeah, you could show it from the top. This looks damn cool. Oh yeah, I can show it from the top. Here. Wheel. So that's kind of like what the interiors look like. Or if I go over here, wedging table. You can kind of see how these ones look. And I don't wire them off or anything. I just let them dry until they just pop right off the wheel head there. But that's what the interiors look like. Kind of fun. I'll answer a couple of questions and then I'm going to head off here. It's pretty late, so I want to edit and I want to just go to bed. I love it. No, it's not Monday. It probably has something you haven't seen yet there. Thank you. But it's good to have a it's good to have bad pots, right? Like you should be making bad pots. Like I think that's important when you're making stuff, right? I think it's awesome already. I appreciate it. You should probably remove the top camera view for the review scene. I think I'm gonna change all the camera settings here. When I get another camera, I'm gonna totally revamp the whole system. But that might be after the thing's all done here. The year's done. Thanks so much, Demon. Great stream, great teaching. We appreciate. Thank you, DK. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for stopping in too. I think as time, I had that one short that went pretty. It popped off a little bit, and so I think now that that's dying down a little bit, it's gonna be cool to see what the retention's like. And some of you guys have been into a lot of the streams, so I appreciate you guys doing that. Don't feel like you have to come to every one though, but I do appreciate it. Thanks for the silent stream with all the interactions. Yeah, I tried to interact with you guys more. All right, I'm gonna head off here. So again, we're gonna go over to what's the word? Computer. Computer. All right. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Do 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 do.